for you to race at Ontario? What the place, since you're the only one out here that still ran there?
What is that?
Ontario.
Is that an age thing?
No.
What are you trying to say?
Well.
First of all, if I'm going to learn anything about Ontario Motor Speedway or anything that I've done in my career, I'm going to have to go on your site on Competition Plus and read it, because I can't remember. That's 4 decades ago.
Hello everybody, I'm Dave McClelland and this is the Big O, Ontario Motor Speedway, the quickest and fastest drag racing track in the world. Don Garlits has already recorded the low lap time of 5.63 seconds. He must run quicker than a 5.69 sometime during this race to back that up for an official national record. He already holds the record at 2:50. Let's see how he does. And it's Don Garlits, an outstanding 5.65 seconds. Speed 249.30 miles an hour. Leaving the line together, but look at Don Prudhomme. 5.98 seconds. 5.98 seconds for Don Prudhomme. That's the first 5-second time ever recorded by a funny car in the history of drag racing.
Glidden all the way to the finish. He is the world champion once again. Bob Glidden out in front, right from the...
This is the final event of the 1976 championship season, and what more fitting place to draw the year to a close than Ontario Motor Speedway. If you've never been to the Big O, it is truly something to see. Before qualifying started and before the crowds came in, Frank had a chance to take a little tour.
OMS, the Ontario Motor Speedway, first opened for business back in 1970. It sits about an hour's drive east of Los Angeles, California, about halfway toward the desert community of Palm Springs. This track was built to accommodate Indy-type cars on its oval and Formula One cars on its road course. For this NHRA World Finals, the start line for the dragsters sits back there over my shoulder, back toward that timing tower. That is the timing tower for the NHRA event. The starting line is just forward of that tower. They come down this quarter-mile track here, and right in front of the grandstands here is actually the finish line for the dragsters. It's the start-finish line for the Indy-type cars on the oval. The drag racers say that this is the fastest track anywhere. But for all the appeal this track has to the racers, this is really a spectator's dream come true.
A tremendous blower explosion for Ed McCulloch and Pat Foster crossing the center line. That will... a good example of the safety requirements of the National Hot Rod Association and the trackside crew of Axel Weber's safety caravan is Gary Cochran up in flames across the finish line. The body's starting to catch on fire. You see the dark black smoke starting to pour off the car. The body comes off the car. He gets into the dirt. Pat Foster.
Well, it was a super stadium. I mean, in that day, that was before Billy Myers built his Oasis there in Texas, where it looks like a stadium, like, you know, Dodger Stadium. It was just huge. The Coliseum in L.A. You know, we had tracks across the country. Now you have Bruton Smith, you have all the big groups that build their tracks, you know, Charlotte, Fort White, all that. But when you really look back, that was really quite a stadium. Now that was a NASCAR track, wasn't it? Yeah. That's how it started. And they had a drag strip on the straightaway. But it was awesome to roll in there and be part of that. And yeah, I raced there a number of years, and then they closed it down.
Pisano's car, driven by Tom Ridings. Ridings has advanced up from the Pro Comp ranks. Those are the alcohol-burning funny cars. Now in the nitro burner of Joe Pisano and smoking the tires. Going all over the racetrack is Ridings. He's still in it, but from behind comes John Forst. Just sticking with it at 7.23 seconds. Hardly any time to talk about, but it's all important as to who gets to the finish line first. The times really mean very little except for lane choice, but it's who's at the finish line first. That's what what counts.
John Force, that's one you might have thought you lost had you not stuck with it.
Steve, I made one of those all-time screw-ups. I left the starting line in high gear. I can't believe I did it. My car was weird acting. I went out there and just did everything wrong. Pedaled it, hit it, but I seen he was in trouble. I recovered it, reached down and shifted it in high gear, and I was in high gear. I got to apologize to my guys because they worked hard, and I screwed it up, and the Lord just let us pull that one right out of the bag.
You've got a reprieve as you go into the semifinals. You'll never do that again, probably.
Oh, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes before this thing's over, but that's a killer to be that dumb. It's dumb. It's the pressure. When I got in the glue box, the car was sideways coming out, and I had to pedal it. So I thought, well, I'll leave it in high gear and try to do another drive with it to save from wearing the clutch. And when I backed up, my whole program changed, and I never thought to put it back in low. And it was just one of those dumb.
Seems to me it takes a heck of a guy to admit it.
I'm a heck of a guy.
Okay, John Ford.
Well, I told you earlier why this track was a favorite of the racers, very fast quarter mile. And I also told you that a little bit later we'd be talking about some of the unique aspects of Ontario, some of the plush aspects of Ontario. With me right now to do just that, the former publicity director of the Ontario Motor Speedway and currently the marketing director for the National Hot Rod Association, Brian Tracy. Brian, you were telling me earlier that this plant is so big that you could actually fit a couple of Disneylands in here.
The overall size of Ontario Motor Speedway is 700 acres, but just inside the retaining walls for the 2.5-mile oval could easily fit 2.5 Disneylands right on the ground, right out here while you're looking out the window.
Absolutely incredible. If you were to fill this thing to capacity, just how many spectators would it hold?
It's almost an inestimable number. The permanent seating in Ontario is 85,000. That's in the permanent aluminum-backed seats. Any number of temporary grandstands could be erected. You could go all the way around the back straightaway through the corners with stands as high as you wanted to go. So you could conceivably, if there was an event to warrant it, put 500,000 people in here.
Rock Yates with Graham Light.
You seem pretty cool. Are you a man that gets psyched, or do you keep yourself pretty much under control? Do you feel the driver's going to be an element in this problem?
I try to stay cool, you know. I'm nervous just like everybody else when we go into it. Dennis Bach, there's no way you're going to psych him. He's been doing the thing for years, and I don't think he can get to me. I've been driving for years, too. So.
Second round, quarterfinals now. It's Light against the all-time veteran Don Garlits, who's won more top fuel titles than anyone in the history of the game. At the line. The focus of attention, those starting lights. Garlits on the far side goes out in front. Graham Light pours it on and surges into the lead to pull an upset. Still another upset here in the World Finals of Drag Racing.
When we went into that stadium, it was like, oh my God, look at this. It was just driving up to it off the freeway. It broke my heart when they tore it down. They bulldozed it and built malls. The land was more valuable than the racetrack. And that's really sad. That's our whole life. But it was great. It was exciting.
I've talked about the racetrack as the drivers see it. We've showed you how accommodating and luxurious it can be for the spectators. But I've come way back here to show you an aspect of the Ontario Motor Speedway that is unlike any other track anywhere in the world. This may be my favorite part of Ontario, depending on the time of day. It's a beautiful man-made lake, complete with ducks. There are actually 2 lakes out here at Ontario, and sitting back out here so peaceful and quiet, they kind of underscore the action and excitement going on way up there in the infield. Well, there's one more thing I'd like to show you. And if you think lakes are unique at a drag strip, would you believe sheep? That's right. This is a small herd that grazes out here, bothered not one bit by all the mechanized activity that invades their tranquility from time to time. Well, as the man once said, is this any way to run a railroad?
How does it make you feel to know that you're the only funny car driver out here now that ever raced there?
You know, it's real funny. I'm 67 years old, but I don't feel old. I saw a guy this morning. I was waiting on him to get in the elevator, and he was 2 years younger than me, and he was healthy. But age, father time gets you. But see, I ain't going to allow it. I know that sounds stupid, but I'm not going to allow it. I'm going to fight this thing to the end. I get me some coffee in the morning, and that, that makes me Superman. And when I want to get really tough and be the Hulk, I drink a little bit of that Monster Energy, and then I can whip anybody. And that's the way I'm going to go till I drop, which could be any day, so keep that camera running.